I will make sure that we are live. Uh, Let me go to YouTube. Okay. Okay. It's loading.
Cool.
Yeah,
I need
perfect.
some 3 comma awards behind me
Yeah,
to match what you
like
have.
3 comma or all commas. Anyway, yeah, let's get started, guys. Who is going to join us live? Like, sorry for being late for 1 hour, but it definitely worth it because today is gonna be definitely interesting guest who is gonna be sharing something unique. Because usually, like, first of all, we're gonna be speaking about Amazon. Secondly, usually about Amazon, we are speaking about how they got success, how like they got their first results, and what kind of ways the sellers could produce better performance in sales. But today, I have a guest. His name is Ben Smith. Who he started with e-commerce business back in 2016, and he was increasing his sales to over 6 figures. And later, with all the expertise which he has, he decided to get and chat with the different Amazon accounts sellers and see what else, what kind of other problems they have, because he already have expertise on his end, and he decided to go through and understand that there is a lot of pitfalls regarding the human base, regarding the employers for Amazon sellers. They have a lot of pitfalls where they need to hire trained people for VA, for customer support, for fulfilling, for different parts of the Amazon selling platform, to cover and making sure that it has less customer complaint and high customer satisfaction. So that's why Ben decided to open his own agency, which is called Seller Candy. It's a partnership team which spends a lot of time with the several Amazon sellers and helping them with 50 plus team members on the employer side, where they provided just directly a trained team into the Amazon sellers business, and they are jumping into the business like already trained and knows what to do from day one. I'm really excited to speak about that today. Hi Ben, what's up? How's it going?
Yeah, everything's good. Thanks for that introduction, Anatoliy. I really appreciate it. And thanks for having me on the show. It's good to be here. And I was joking right before we started that I wish I had some cool awards back here, but unfortunately I don't. So I'm always impressed by your cool awards in the background, but happy to be here today.
Thanks, Ben. I'm excited today to speak about you and about your direction, because it's quite unique, definitely, because not many people are speaking about those kind of stuff, which is actually on the back end. It's the heart of the business. It's actually how exactly to manage the business on the high end sales, because like even in my end on Shopify, we scale high, and after that, like customer support, fulfillment, designs, video editing, and several other things need to be covered. And you just like realizing that you're speeding up on the 60 miles an hour from like in a couple of days, but you don't understand how to manage the business. And I believe this is your strongest things. So let's get started from the like at the beginning, like why you decide to go this direction after getting some good results on your end, and how long you doing that.
Yeah, so I'll kind of take it back. So yeah, I head up partnerships at Seller Candy. Seller Candy, in a nutshell, the way that we kind of describe ourselves is we provide outcome-driven support for Amazon sellers. So we're somewhat unique in the Amazon space in that, we're not like an agency. We don't do any advertising, which is normally the more sexy, exciting part of running an Amazon business, is the sales and the PPC part. Instead, we focus on helping sellers with kind of all the annoying operational stuff, dealing with seller support, all these things that you have to do that come up, in running and growing your business, but that no one really wants to talk about. They're not as fun, right? So essentially what happened is, just to take it back a couple of years ago, I was actually working with our founder, at his previous agency. So he owned a full service Amazon agency. So I was managing a handful of clients, and doing PPC for them, managing, full service management. He ended up exiting that business and leaving and starting Seller Candy. And I took a hiatus and went a different direction. But the reason he started Seller Candy is that, what he realized in that time kind of running, and he's also exited his own Amazon business as well. So in kind of with those experiences, he learns that not every brand or not every person or business is going to succeed on Amazon. That's, just the tough reality. However, every single Amazon brand or business that goes through the cycle is going to have challenges and problems as they try to grow and obviously try to succeed. And so, that's essentially where kind of this desire came from and why he started Seller Candy. So I've been on the team about 2 years now, so I'm one of the partners here. But that's kind of like the impetus of where the model came from. For any listeners who are watching that are already listening, already selling on Amazon, they're going to know the pain point, right? Dealing with I'm not as well versed in the Shopify or direct to consumer world, but I'm sure there's some similarities. But especially with Amazon, you are at the mercy of Amazon's platform, their terms of service, their system, all of that stuff. And a lot of people that, a big portion of their business is probably going to hinge on Amazon. And so if you have a listing that goes down or you have some kind of problem where your account health isn't good, that's obviously setting you up for potentially a massive risk. I mean, if you have a listing that's down for a couple days or a week, not only are you losing out on sales, but you're also losing your rank on Amazon. And if you've been spending money to rank your product for years, it's literally just reversing all of that hard work that you've put in. And so there's like so many pieces like that where Amazon has, always been very customer centric. And the joke is like, they don't really care about their sellers as much. I would say they've changed a little bit. They're starting to kind of implement some things that, at least in appearance, make the seller's life a little bit better, but there's still so many challenges. And so I think that's where kind of Seller Candy steps in is, we have a team now of about 50 or so agents. A lot of them are ex-Amazon seller support staff members, not all of them, but we essentially put every one of them through rigorous training protocols. And essentially we allow sellers to then utilize our team members for really anything that they might have, any problems, issues, challenges, or just the day-to-day ops that come up when they're growing and scaling their business.
Yeah, it all makes sense. And like, as I was just as well mentioned that that's something what people are undervaluating a lot. And choosing this niche, definitely you jump in, not maybe blue ocean, but in something which is highly valued service, which is a lot of people needs. So tell me, please, like, how do you recognize? I mean, when you're speaking to like potential partners on your end, and like, what's the biggest pitfalls, the biggest problems people have when they are looking for the support on their side when they start growing their sales? What's the biggest issues people can get, so everyone will understand and maybe feel themselves in those shoes?
Yeah, good question and a couple points on that. I mean, I think first of all, just like as a general statement, and I know you've been through this, Anatoliy, and I have as well, and everyone who's starting their own business has, but when you start, it's normally just you and a co-founder, and you can kind of manage everything at the very beginning, but very quickly, it becomes a lot. Like if you're selling on Amazon right now and you just have 2 or 3 SKUs, it's pretty manageable for you to manage kind of the whole business yourself. And if you want to be the person that's like in there learning all the things and dealing with seller support cases, cool, that's fine. But if you start scaling where either those SKUs are getting really high volume or you're adding more and more products to your catalog, which you should be doing, one or both of those, then at a certain point, you probably, as the business owner, should not be the one that's still in the trenches doing the actual work on the day-to-day. So I guess it's like a very general statement, and this is coming from experience because I've been there and I've made this mistake, but I also see this a lot of times with prospective clients that come talk to us is essentially not looking for help soon enough, because you especially if this is your baby, if you're growing your own business, like it's your baby, and maybe there's you're in the trenches for so long at the beginning that you kind of forget that, oh, I'm working in my business. I should be working on my business. And maybe the things that I'm spending my time on right now are not the best use of my time. Like maybe I should be instead focusing on advertising or focusing on sourcing more products to add to my catalog, and find the things and the right team members to kind of outsource or delegate the other stuff to. So I'd say that's kind of a very general, statement, but I see time and time again, and I'm sure you've probably worked with a lot of clients or people as well in that position. That kind of leads me into what I would say is, like, a lot of times people come to us when, I don't want to say it's too late, but when they have like a specific issue, like a challenging issue or just something that they can't figure out or solve on their own. It's I would say less frequent that people like are thinking ahead and come to us because they're like, hey, we plan that in 6 months we're going to be at this scale and we need your guys' support. We want to ramp you guys up. It's more like kind of a last minute thing. So I'd say that's kind of a general pitfall. And I think that that's something that, especially again, now that we're recording this at the end of 2023, entering the new year, it's a good time to take a step back and kind of do some reflection, even if that is like an hour, even if you have less time than that. If it's a half hour, okay, think about like, what worked in the past year, where were the challenges, where are the things that you need to improve, but kind of do like a mini audit of like where you're at and where your Amazon business is at. And that'll kind of set you up for obviously making some changes and setting goals and moving into the new year, which, I'm happy to get into that a little bit more. But yeah, so I'd say those are two kind of common pitfalls, I'd say. I think beyond that, like in terms of specifics related to Amazon, the two most popular, the two categories that we see people asking us for help on the most, and these are going to be pretty broad categories, are listing / catalog related stuff. So anything related to listings, that could be like, hey, I have a suppressed Amazon listing, I need it fixed. I have a listing that's been deactivated, I need an appeal or plan of action written for it. Or maybe just updating a listing, adding, new images, what have you. That's the number one most popular category people will come to us and ask for help on. The second one is account health, which again, very broad. Like there's so many different pieces that go in there, but that's anything that's going to show up in your account health page, which is normally, kind of the serious part that you want to really pay attention to in your Amazon account, and can be the thing that ends up getting you in trouble if you're not always looking at it and taking quick action. So yeah, those are kind of some general things I'll pull out.
Yeah, makes sense. They are crucial if you want to take action fast, on time. It's a killer of the business. It's a fact,
Right.
Because that fact shows me as well a lot of past fuck ups, I would say, in Shopify world as well. When we got holds, we got a lot of different things just because of the wrong team member, not trained it enough, not experienced enough on the board. So according to that, it's really direction amazing. As I just said, for sure, I believe you have like easy to close deals for your salespeople. There is definitely a big benefit that you're in such kind of niche. But you have competitors, but I believe it's a healthy competition. I'm wondering about something. What's the most important? Like to start this direction, you need have those kind of people, or you need to hire people and train them and making sure that they won't screw up the business of your clients. So now you have 50 plus employers. Tell us please, what's the most key, like the most important key point on driving the business with such kind of service where you providing experience to the business owners, experience in terms of people who are going to be dive in, and from first day they're supposed to know what they're doing. How difficult to find such kind of people, and how you train them, how you control them? Share with us some insights, please.
Yeah, of course. So I think, just kind of continue like on my previous point about taking that time to do some reflection, and when you do that, you kind of, we always recommend doing like a gap analysis. So like look at your current state. Here's where I'm at. Here are the things that went well, the challenges, opportunities. Then, you essentially you assign like, hey, these are the one I always recommend. Write down the thing, like literally bullet points, but write down the things like you hate doing first. Like I hate doing anything related to accounting, bookkeeping, anything like that. Then write down all the things that, essentially here are all the things that are opportunities are, and essentially give them a score like between 1 and 10 of the impact to your business, right? Like if you have a listing, and I'm talking like all parts, and this can extend to not just Amazon, this could be your direct to consumer sites, so, whatever. But for the sake of this talk, I'll just specifically focus on Amazon. But essentially, like, this can be, hey, I need to improve my graphics on all of my listings. This could be, my advertising. I don't have anyone that's an expert. I need to find someone that's an expert. That's going to have probably a 10 out of 10 big impact on your business. Versus there's going to be, I have, this one listing in my catalog that never sells. Like, I should fix it and get it back, but that's going to be a 1 out of 10. Don't waste time on it. Once you've got that kind of list written down, first of all, by this point, you're going to kind of have a sense of like, hey, here's where I'm at with my business. And the reason I'm saying this is because that's going to dictate what different options you want to look at in terms of getting support or getting help as you kind of move forward into maybe the next 6 or 12 months. From there, you essentially decide from that list you created, what are the things that I want to personally focus on, or I want my, let's say, in-house team to definitely focus on, best use of our time. And everything else are the things that you want to outsource, delegate, or hire someone else to take over, right? So that's like a very, very simplified version of kind of the breakdown that we kind of look at, I guess, or advise people on. But from there, I mean, you've got a ton of different options, right? Like, you can hire an in-house person, right? You could, and that's, of course, there's pros and cons to all these, but hire an in-house person. You could get a full service agency, so someone who's going to do like everything. Maybe you get a PPC only agency. Maybe you're just going to want to say, I want to look for the tools that are going to help streamline some of these processes. And maybe that's all you're getting. Or maybe you look for a solution like, Seller Candy or something else out there. I would say with Seller Candy, what I kind of always say is like, again, we have, I guess, kind of the key things that you need, which is you need experience and you need numbers, at least when we're talking about Amazon, right? Like, I think every business owner or business person who's watching this, listening to this, they want to grow in the new year. I don't think anyone's saying, I want to slow down. We all want to grow. And the thing is if you go and hire an individual freelancer, that's great. Or hiring an in-house staff member, those are all great options. And a lot of our clients have in-house people or are hiring in-house people. But the nice thing I'd say, and kind of one of the really big value adds that we provide, is we've got 50 people that are trained, that know Amazon in and out, and our model scales up and down with you. So we've got kind of that team on demand for you. Which, I think is a very important thing, especially going into like a period where you're expecting that big growth, right? Is that if you go and hire your own person and you have to, one, have that lead time to hire someone, then you need the lead time to train them. Then you have, I always kind of say you kind of create a second job for yourself in some ways, where you're essentially you're the one who's kind of managing that person, hopefully not, but maybe firing them and starting over again. There's downsides. And of course there's downsides to every model, but with Seller Candy, I think that's one of the nice things. We have redundancy baked in. We're scalable. We've got the numbers. And then the last part I want to touch on, which is becoming, I think, increasingly important, and I'm sure this is similar in the Shopify world, but Amazon's getting more and more complex. I'm glad that, like, when I got into the Amazon space, like, I did all this stuff myself, right? Like, I started off like in a office building, like picking and packing like things in poly bags and shipping them into Amazon, and building the FBA shipments, resolving problems. Then I went on to like managing advertising, doing flat files, so I saw all the pieces and learned them myself. That being said, it's gotten a lot more complex, and there's a time and a place for you to say, yes, I want to learn all that stuff. But I'll be honest, like, that's not where I want to be anymore. Like, I know about the changes and I have like a broad understanding of the things that are changing. But man, I don't personally want to dive in and relearn flat files and spend hours doing that stuff anymore. And I think for a lot of the business owners or other people watching this, that's a really important comment, is like, if you really want to do that, cool, power to you. It's great to know. That being said, like, it's probably not the best use of your time. And because Amazon's getting more complex, because there's so many changes now happening and the space is getting a lot more competitive, you have to find a team or build the team in-house, whatever, but they have to be paid essentially to be like on their A game, right? And I think that's why like there is a big argument for leveraging the resources that are out there. Like, get a full service Amazon agency. Like, they have experts that know what they're doing, and that you're paying them to be like on like top of everything for you. Obviously you want to find like a good one, but same with, Seller Candy. That's the other thing, was like, we've got 50 plus agents. We got 70 plus people on the team. The other thing I like to say is like, we have probably had, I think, like somewhere over 500 clients come through our doors. I don't know how many are active currently, but in that vicinity. And we've gotten a lot of collective knowledge that comes in because of all of those clients passing through. And that's important because while most things in the Amazon world, like 90% of the issues or challenges or things that come up are really kind of, people come to me and say like freak out and think their problem is extremely unique. The reality is 90% of those problems we've seen them before. Yours is like just, it's about your product, but otherwise it's the same thing. However, every once in a while, there are some weird nuanced issues that come up. And so I guess my point is like, it's important to have like kind of that baked in knowledge, but that like we have that collective knowledge because we see so many Amazon accounts and because we have so many team members, we have that internal knowledge as well. And I think you're going to get the same thing if you're working with like an agency or, a service provider of some sort that has been around the block. They've seen all the things on Amazon, and that's important. That's kind of the experience I think you kind of end up paying for with those kind of solutions. So I know that was a very long-winded answer, but hopefully I answered your question.
Yeah, like no, all good. I received one comment from our audience that on your end the microphone is just like have some kind of problems with the correction of the sound. Just to let you know. Yeah, so just in case, want to make sure that guys will be hearing properly. On my end is fine, but just in case.
Now?
Yeah, like it's perfect.
I just took my AirPods off, so hopefully it's improving a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So like the value of the service for sure is there. Like, but for you as a business owner, is it really hard to get people on the board? And like when you're searching for them, for such kind of people, like I know that for me, it was always hard to find. Like I can go through the 5 VAs and none of them will be working. Like I remember like in my stores, all the experience now we have already proven, which is like we tested out several times with several clients, and it's now proven system which is we following. But in this, it's in Shopify space. In Amazon space, I believe it's quite the same, just different problems. And for you personally, or maybe your HR department, is it something challenging, or it's really quite easy to get something for someone who can be a good fit for your culture, and like what requirements they must have to be a part of your team? I would like to understand that. So like, because that's everyone asking, like how to get the right VA, how to get the right team member on the board. How is that experience on your end?
Well, I would say that, like, generally speaking, it's once you have momentum, it's because it becomes a lot easier. And now because we have a lot of agents, like we get a lot more job applicants, I suppose, because word of mouth, and so I think 80 or 90% of our agents are previous Amazon seller support staff members, and obviously that's a huge benefit, if we can, and that we do try to recruit people kind of out of that world because they obviously have some experience with the Amazon ecosystem. We also get a lot of people that, previously maybe worked with an Amazon brand or at an agency. And there are obviously various places to find people. Onlinejobs.ph is a great one if you're looking for kind of the Filipino market. I know there's other, different country specific ones. Obviously you have kind of the Fiverr and Upwork space. I think it's kind of mixed results there and maybe a lot of sifting. But those, I've personally hired people off of those before in the past, not for Seller Candy specifically, but for my projects, and had good success. And I've also had some that were not as good, but that happens. But yeah, I think like, in terms of the skill set, like we're obviously looking for people that already have Amazon experience when they come in. We still, regardless, will put everyone through like a pretty rigorous training protocol. And then the way that we're structured internally is we have kind of some more experienced team leaders that oversee a bunch of other agents kind of as they're in their silos. So we have kind of like the ongoing stuff and ongoing training. Of course, like there's so many changes, like we have a lot of ongoing training that occurs internally. But yeah, I mean, it's totally doable, right? Like if you just want to go and find like a freelancer to help you with something specific, or, just help you in general. Yeah, 100%. I'm a big fan of onlinejobs.ph. If you're looking for people in the Filipino market, that's, a great place to hire. Amazon also has big seller support centers in Costa Rica and also in India, I believe. So, those are kind of good pools to try to find people or recruit people out of, obviously, because like, if they come from Amazon, normally they have at least some knowledge. or experience. That being said, the one important call out too is Amazon has become so siloed. So even like the seller support reps, like normally they're in a specific department that only deals with a specific type of issue or case, right? And so that person, and that's kind of like I guess the overall argument too of like having one freelancer or one person is like, you don't have redundancy. If that person is out, or maybe they're really good at like 90% of the workload that you're giving them. But what happens when that account or that listing gets suspended and they've never done a plan of action before or an appeal, and they don't know how to do it? Well, now it's either going to fall on you to do it yourself or to go find someone else to do it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, again, right, it's you want to eventually get to a place where you have experience and you have numbers. And whether that's you hiring multiple people, which you might not be at the point right now to do, maybe you're just bringing on your first person. That's okay. But you want to try to rapidly get to that point. So I think those are kind of just like some high level things I'd mention.
Nice. Okay. And in this case, you hiring people, you have the agency which provide incredible, valuable service, in my opinion, as a business owner in e-commerce. And why it's regular, it's even for advertising agencies like mine. When you are speaking with the client and he completely understands that it makes sense, you like there is no trust issues, you have credibilities, you have all these awards, you have all the proofs on the back end. I'm saying that what people saying, customers, yeah, but why would we like work with you instead of just hiring the internal team, and
Yeah.
like coaching them and managing them? So here is my like question and interest, like what's the difference and why people like Amazon sellers would choose to work with the agency like yours with several VAs and hiring VAs with growth of the business, the day by week by week, month by month, it depends how many people they need, to compare to hire their own department. They would most probably save as they think, but I can tell even without guessing, they will lose much more until they will start saving. So and it's like cost of the business in general. So that's why I'm wondering, like, how would you like describe what is better, training their own team or hiring agency like yours, and what's the difference in your opinion?
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. I mean, well, one thing like I'll call out too is, we, especially in the last like year, there's a lot of Amazon agencies actually are our clients of ours. Like they use our service in the back end. And what I kind of call out with them is like, they have like teams of experienced people in house. Right. So the question's like, okay, why do the agencies that have these big experienced teams, why are they going to use Seller Candy or something like that? And for them, the arguments normally, again, kind of what I was saying earlier with the business owner thing, it's, at the end of the day, if you've got an agency that has in-house team members, there for them, they need to focus on the highest and best use of their time, which normally ends up being advertising, client communications, strategy, like kind of those top level things. However, you still have all the other annoying like little things that come up, like, hey, this listing is suppressed, or there's a shipment that has a problem, or dealing with like reimbursements. And so agencies, a lot of time or the really challenging sticky issues where it's like something, plans of action where it might end up taking like a month to get something resolved. I mean, that's such a time drag on like an individual team member, is that they have to continually check on some plan of action or appeal or case when, it's just, and that might be one account if they're working on multiple. And so with them, like that's a big value add, and essentially offloading all of that kind of more menial stuff to us. So I like to say that kind of as a starting point, just to kind of say, one, like you can build your in-house team and still find like these kind of external solutions. And I think it really depends on your business model, where you're at in general in the cycle. And I've had all kinds of different conversations. I've had people who straight up tell me like, hey, we want to build an in-house team. We're going to use you guys temporarily, but we're going to build an in-house team. Okay, cool. That's fine. We also have people that go the other way. Hey, we had an in-house team. We're getting rid of them and scaling down, and you guys have like a pretty affordable option that gives us what we need. But I would say like at a high level, benefits of using us versus let's say you're going and trying to build your in-house team. One, we got scalability built in. So again, like if you're scaling really fast, like let's say, I've talked to a lot of, again, I'm going to go back to the agency example, an agency owner that maybe has 3 or 5 clients, maybe one other in-house person. So they're kind of in that early stage growth mode, and they're in negotiations to sign contracts on 3, 6 more client accounts. So their business is about to go, they're going to have a lot more workload as soon as those deals close. Let's translate that to a seller. Maybe you're a seller and you're like, hey, I'm about to launch 6 more products or 8 more products or something like that. Or I'm tripling my ad spend. I know that I'm going to be doing way more sales volume. The time it takes to find, hire, train someone, and then the ongoing management it's not instantaneous, right? Like there's definitely a ramp up time there. And again, it depends on the caliber and kind of what you're looking for, but that's time that it's going to take for you to have to, to essentially work them up to where they're ready to actually do all the work in your account. Versus with us, it's plug and play, right? You could sign up for Seller Candy today, and by tomorrow you've got an agent that already knows Amazon and is ready to go. Or let's say you're like, okay, we just closed three new clients, or we just launched our 6 new products next week. Cool. You can easily get more support from us. So I'd say the kind of instant availability of bandwidth and experience and redundancy, big plus. That being said, I wouldn't discourage people from building their own team in-house. I think it's still like a great idea if it fits you and fits your business model. It really just depends, right? Like some people want like a very flexible, managing people in-house and building your own in-house team or a business, it's challenging. And normally people are the most challenging part of it. So that's why we've, probably seen a rise in kind of these one-person businesses in a way where they just use tons of like contractors, freelancers, or agencies. It gives you a lot more flexibility in that sense. And you can kind of just manage those people for the things that they're set to do. But again, like everyone's different. So I'm not here to say that there's like a downside to building an in-house team. That would be really unfair. Of course, like I'm in favor of having Seller Candy, and I started working here because I saw how big I've been a seller, right? Like, and I've also managed clients. I saw what the need is and the value that this adds. So I think it's a really powerful tool to know about and to have in your toolkit. And if you're looking for support, then it's a great tool for you to use or plug into. But yeah, so I know that's my very neutral politician-y answer, but the reality is like I think that both have pros and cons. I think that it really just depends on your model, and there's nothing to say you can't use solutions in tandem or in different phases of your business. Maybe this phase is the growth mode and you need a certain solution, and maybe 6 months from now or a year from now you don't need that one and you need something else. It really just depends.
Yeah, I'm with you on this point. I mean, like again, as agency to agency on completely different services, it's kind of different, not kind of different sub niches of e-commerce. I can tell you that like hiring someone, train it from day one into my business, I would definitely do that. And you're gonna be overpaying a bit, but this is the price which is you actually paying for experience from day one. If you won't have someone in the team, it depends where you want to move forward with that. Maybe it could be someone like who you're going to be training on daily basis for half of the year. They're going to be next to you or next to your responsible people, but they're going to be managing this kind of like service providers like you. So that's a kind of wise idea. So having one on the board, official team member who gonna be just managing several bunch of different VAs who are doing different things, and you are agency provider who has unlimited access to the human power with the experience in the way where they need to go. So this is definitely incredible. And like not every business owner understand that, not every business owner feel that they like gonna be saving on it, they feeling that they're gonna be overpaying. And but again, with the right points which you just mentioned, there is like no brainer. Like I prefer speed and time, save the time and like get speed on the results than like getting someone new on the board and just coaching, training, and I know that I will fire maybe 3-5 people before I get the one, and that will cost months. Since I'm not that tough, I'm sweet and soft business person, which means it will like make me making hard things to find that right person. And you are. Ben is there, his team is there. Like if you would have VAs on the Shopify, I would highly consider with my team that we can reach out to Ben and say, hey, like we need a couple of people, because sometimes we have this kind of like spikes in the results and we need instantly more VAs, and like that becoming headache. So I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I have a question to you according to that. What's your, like, you're working with a bunch of clients, you mentioned incredible number, 500 plus different clients which just went through your agency in the lifetime of your agency. Tell me please, what's the most difficult case or client itself, or some, or most interesting, something what you like it was unusual and like wow, if you handle it it's awesome, if you didn't handle it it's fine, but I'm just interested in what kind of like really subjects you can see on your end which is would surprise you with the outcome when you go join to some of
Yeah.
the businesses.
I'll tell you some of the unique ones that just come to mind. I mean, first off, you see a lot of just very unique products, and I don't want to give anyone's like product away or business, but like I've seen some products that like I'm like, wow, that I did not know that was a real thing. That being said, I know there is. I mean, I'll tell a couple different stories of some. So one, I talked to a guy maybe like a year ago, and he had shipped, and this is a pretty common problem, like anyone who's selling on Amazon will know it, but like when you ship inventory to Amazon's warehouses, to FBA, like they receive it, it's getting moved all over the place, like they do lose or damage some of that inventory. And that is, side note, we do offer a service to help without a reimbursement service to go after those losses, so something you should look into. But the weirdest one I had there was, two things. One's a personal one. So with a previous business I had, I actually used to do like all of the, when Amazon gets like returns from customers, they're returned to the FBA warehouse, and then Amazon will, if you have your settings set up like this, they'll return it to you wherever you want, like whether that's your house or your business warehouse or whatever. So I was working with a company that sold like high-end electronic parts, like everything was like, $200 plus, sometimes several $1,000s. And we had a networking switch so it was in what they call a removal order. So coming back from Amazon. And so you open the removal order and you got to check them, because like a lot of times it might not be the product that you're expecting, or they'll do, especially with these high-end products, and electronics are very challenging for this. People sometimes buy your unit, swap it out with the one they have that maybe is broken, and return their broken one and say, that it was like defective or something. So essentially they get to keep like a free brand new one. So we have weird issues like that. But one time I was expecting like a $200 or $400 like networking switch to come back, open up the box, and inside there's a 4-pack of Tupperware. It's like, how does Amazon make that mistake? How did they receive this and look and say, yeah, this is a networking switch. Sure, send it back. So, you get those weird ones where, those are things where you can open a case and fight. And, in that case, we did get a reimbursement, but, it's a very manual thing. It's annoying. I had another guy about a year ago who shipped a pallet. So he came to us, he had shipped a pallet of goods in. I'm talking like, thousands of units. He told me it was roughly $100,000 worth of like inventory. And it was shipped to the Amazon's like partnered carrier. It arrives, so it gets scanned in, it arrives, blah, blah, blah. And they said, oh yeah, there's 0 units on this pallet. We received nothing. Total weight, 4 pounds, AKA the pallet's weight.
How come?
So this is what happens with Amazon, is like this sometimes. And that was a really tough one. I don't think we ended up working with him directly, but I don't know what the outcome was, but like those are the weird issues that happen, is
That's
like
really weird.
in what worlds could that have happened? Who's going to ship an empty pallet to Amazon? Makes no sense. But see, those things happen. I'd say one other pretty wild one was I had a client that we did work with. They had a brand. It was brand registered on Amazon and everything. They owned it. And on Amazon, if you go to a product listing and you click the brand name, so underneath the title, in most cases, people have set it up with brand registry so that you'll then end up on the storefront related to that brand, right? Mm-hmm. And Amazon storefront. And cool, that's all good. But with this guy or gal, I don't even remember, their brand, so they sold some random product. But what happened is when you click on the store, the brand name, and get to the storefront, it was linked to an adult health wellness product, I'll just say storefront, not theirs, not their brand at all. But because of that, their products were all getting flagged as adult products, which then you can't advertise. They're heavily
Mm,
search suppressed. Obviously, they don't want anyone who's underage to find them. And that was like the weirdest problem, like had no relation to them. It wasn't even like the same name as their brand. And like it took forever. I can't remember what the outcome was specifically, but so you do get those weird issues like that. It's just like, weird stuff. So I'm trying to think if there are any other good ones. I don't know. Those are normally the best ones I can normally remember.
yeah, like I see every single direction in the business has own weird stuff, because like in our end had happened as well a lot of strange things. So that's why it was interesting to listen what you could expect. And like, so if you're an Amazon seller and you feel that you stuck somewhere, and or actually you start scaling, and now you like feeling that you are not able to be everywhere, you must be not scared to hire people. Hire on the board, up to you. If you are small seller, you don't have enough cash flow, most probably you'll hire one person on the potential, which is I done back in 2018. My first hiring was, and back in 2018 I was actually really hiring on the potential, because I cannot pay him. So I was paying him after we produced together. So, and here, like, if you're that kind of level, it's fine, you can hire, and maybe later on that person will stay with you and will be coachable by you. But if you're already on the speed of 6 figures a month, and like you just growing fast because you have incredible product, incredible listings, incredible stuff on your end, and you just like trying to handle, and it's growing too fast. The same with TikTok shops right now. It's going so wide, so broad, that like people as well stuck in on the level of managing the fulfillment and customer service. So if you're on that kind of level, which is like you have lucky reasons to scale, don't be scared to give a chance to people who has already team on their end. I'm not on the reference, I'm not like on the promotion here. I'm just saying, as a business owner from my end providing services, I know that it's necessary to have plan B who can help me out. Coaching your own team, it's fine, but you always will need some extra hands. And Ben and his sellers candidate team, for sure, it's one of the good options, I believe so. And Ben, before the end, I would like to ask you a question, which is we always asking our guests, and just wondering to hear from your side. Sounds good?
Sure.
Yeah. So I would like to ask you, like, what would you choose? The journey or end result, and why?
Well, I mean, the journey for sure, right? Like, I mean, I think that, which I might get, I don't know if that's what most people say or not, but to me, that seems like the obvious choice, because the journey is where you get all the experience. It's where you get all the fun. I mean, I don't know. You can, what they say, like anyone who, all those people who retire, it's like retiring and then not having anything to do. It's like your mental health, your physical health, like everything drops off a cliff after that point. There's obviously a reason why, like humans were built to have purpose, and you get purpose through working towards a goal. And so, I mean, I know for myself personally, like I don't ever intend to retire in the sense that I'm going to sit around and do nothing. Like I think for my entire life, I will have something that I'm focused on, whether, maybe towards the end of my life, it's pottery or gardening or something, totally fine. But so I think like it's all about the journey, right? It's the end result you'll get there and want something different anyway. So, it's going to be an ongoing target. So that, I mean, that's definitely my take on it. What about you, Anatoly? Have you answered your own question before?
Yeah, definitely. And it's always journey. I would tell you that on the guest side, we've been already on over 40 podcasts, I believe, and a couple of people answered the end result, but
Mm.
they have clear understanding what the end results means for them, But again, when we open this subject is about the end result, they like understand, they agreed that like, yeah, it will pass. What's gonna be next? It's gonna be again journey. So like, it's like I would say tricky, not tricky, because again, everyone has own opinion on it, but journey is like all the things which has happened with us, the fucked ups, the success, like with the journey we getting a lot of new skills and life experience, life lessons, which is making us who we are and bringing us where we are today. And without that kind of journey, we won't be that kind of experience. Like this, what I'm saying to some of leads who come into us, the potential clients, and like text it, hey, I want to be in 6 figures a month. And we're asking, what's your goal? I want to be in 6 figures a month. Okay, so how is your store producing now? No, I don't have a store. I want just like to generate 6 figures. Oh, okay. So like, and we start asking, how you planning to achieve? Yeah, I just need to do this. Like, no. And we start explaining him the process, which is the journey. He's thinking about 6 figures a month, but when we start describing, like, you need to create a store, for example, you need to add the products, you need to find out, you need to scale, you need to manage customer support, fulfillment, you need to make sure that all those systems are in place, and only after that you'll be able to jump to 5 figures a month, multiple 5 figures a month, and then 6 figures a month. Otherwise, you're gonna be screwed. You can scale from $1 today to 6 figures tomorrow, but it will be your last 6 figures in this business, because it will be kill your business. You won't be able to manage. You don't have enough skills, you don't have enough people, you don't have enough connections, you don't have anything. So, and just luck, which is bring you to this beautiful number, but at the end you're gonna be like you're gonna be losing everything. It's about about the journey. If we want to exceed with the 9 figures, with the 100 millions or $1 billion worth of business, we have to went through the journey. We cannot just like jump into the end results. It's possible, but it will be the last thing which we would do ever in that particular direction, or maybe in life, because health as well is, I had a problem with heart last year, and because I was like overwhelmed with the war in Ukraine, with moving my family in another place, and again, this is like a journey in the same time, but end result was awful, but it was a lesson for me, and that end result was only for a minute, but journey keep going after, and that journey switched in a better direction, because like we because of our journey we becoming smarter, we understand, taking the lesson, analyzing that lesson, and moving forward without repeating the same mistakes, at least trying to do that. So this is like kind of my open answer in terms of my personal experience, that when we get success, we get our first milestone or whatever, like first award, first anything, it's incredible. It's end result. It's incredible. But
when did it wear off for you though? When, after you got your first award, was it the next day, or were you, or
when I got my first award, it was the beautiful moment. I was almost crying. It was really a beautiful moment for me. But the thing is that when I got the second one, it was like third and fourth, I wasn't feeling anything. I was just, they were staying on the floor in my first floor in the house. They were staying for 3 weeks in the box. I didn't even open them. And I feel shame because of that. I know the guys like me back in 2018, when I saw that award first time, I was like, it's not possible. I mean, it's not for me. It's like far away. It's far. When I achieved my first award, it was really mind-blowing moment where I was almost crying, because I know how hard I working before, and I wasn't feel that it's even possible. And the one point that I put the goal for myself in January 2020, in January 2020, I put the goal, and by June 2021, which is in 5 months, 5.5 months, already first award arrived in 5 months. When I was like, no, I was dreaming about that for whatever I found out 2 years ago. I wasn't sure that I would ever achieve it, and in 5 months, I not even achieved. In the another 5 months, I achieved the second one. So by that being said, it was incredible achievement, but on the third and fourth, it was zero emotions, and it's sad. It's sad.
but did you
It's
ever
an
think
end
about like
result.
stopping and being like, oh, I just, got that my first award. I probably, made some money, and now I'm good. Like I'm done. Or like
Yeah, we're moving
I'm
forward.
finished.
It's good. Like, oh, it's fine. It means we are doing right. It's just, it means we are doing right. So by that being said, like, I'm really, really believe in journey, because end results happen, but it's finishing in one click. It's finishing in one single click, and this end result. It's a win. which you're feeling, which you're getting, and after that your life continues or you die. That's all. So if life continues, it's a journey, keep going. And now even if you don't have yet goal, you will create a goal for yourself and journey will make sense again. Yeah, so the journey. Sorry, it
Agreed.
took longer.
Cool. No, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben. So I really believe that guys and girls who are gonna be listening, especially till the end, uh, please make sure that you considering such kind of services. They are available in different directions. And for example, if you are in Amazon, because I know that most of my guys who are listening are Shopify, but there is in general they have Amazon stores as well. I'm just wondering, Ben, if they would like to find out about your service, how they can get in touch with you, what website they have to visit. So we'll place under the video and they will know where they can find you.
Yeah, I'll give 3 things. One is our main website is just sellercandy.com. So you certainly can go there and learn more about us. If you want to directly reach out, you can email sales@sellercandy.com and just mention you came from this podcast, and it'll either be me or someone from the team will reply and get back to you. And whether you just have a question or you have a specific problem, cool, let us know. We're happy to help. And even if we're not a good fit for you, we'll try to recommend someone in the space who is or maybe can help you. The third one, if you're kind of not at the stage where you're ready for help yet, but you're kind of having Amazon questions or problems, we actually have a really cool side service kind of under our main service called Ask Seller Candy. And it's essentially, rather than you having to go Google anything or YouTube anything, if you have that question or you have a problem and you just want the answers very quickly from a real person, essentially you can get access for free to our agents and ask them questions. So if you go to sellercandy.com/ask, ASK, sign up. It's free right now. And then essentially what that allows you to do is literally submit questions to our agents who are experienced Amazon agents, and they will get back to you and answer the questions. Of course, you still have to be the one that goes to do the work, but at least you get real life answers from our team. So that's a cool service option that we have. So those are kind of the three best ways to get in touch.
Awesome. Yeah, we definitely will add them to make sure
Cool.
that guys will see it. I noticed we had one question which is we missed before the end. Like person asked what platform better to start with, Amazon or Shopify. I believe answer would be it's pretty similar from both of us. Like it depends on you what direction you want to go, and are you want to run the traffic through the social media ads, or you want to be on the marketplace as Amazon. What kind of product do you have? What your thoughts about it?
Well, I think it's like Amazon. The biggest pro to Amazon is that Amazon's going to they have the customer base, and you selling on Amazon gives you an instant ability to connect to that customer base. And obviously they have their FBA program and a bunch of other things which are cool. But I'd say the customer base is probably a big pro. The downside is that essentially you don't own those customers, right? Like you don't get their emails, you don't get their phone numbers, contact info, any of that stuff. They're Amazon's customers, not yours. So, and I'll be honest, I get a lot of brands that start on Amazon, but almost all of them, and I hear very frequently, they'll tell me is they want to eventually get to building up their own Shopify or direct to consumer brand. I personally would, if I were starting over again, I would probably personally start on Amazon, but I'm biased because I know Amazon. But the same day I launch on Amazon or before I launch, I would have my direct to consumer site set up and ready, because you're going to get the halo effect regardless. People who buy on Amazon, some of them are inevitably going to start looking for your brand and buying direct from you. But also more importantly than that, you need to start collecting emails as soon as possible, right? Like in my opinion. So, and I think that, and the last comment I'll make is that, the brands that are already crushing it on direct to consumer, that then they're like, oh, we want, like Amazon's the afterthought. Oh, it's so easy then, for them, because I think that arguably the harder part, at least to me, is starting your direct to consumer site, because you then you own the customer, you own everything. It's a lot safer. Amazon can't shut you down necessarily, but there's challenges with that. You have to know your advertising. You have to manage all that stuff. You have to, acquire all the customers, which I think is obviously challenging piece. And I know that's where you guys kind of come in. So that's my take on it. That's my take.
The great point about you're not owning your customers. Like, you are not a real brand, you're just a seller. Because if you want to be a real brand, you must own the details of your customers and get in touch with them, be engaging with them, warming up them. Not about even to sell, providing value they will buy from you after that. But I'm just saying that if you're not owning their own customers, you're not real brand, you're just a seller of something what's selling. So like, like, it's a great point, which is I just missed to say. It's 100% like the huge difference between Shopify and Amazon. It's not making Amazon bad, it's not making Shopify better. It's about like huge difference. It's a marketplace, and this is your own home place for your business, where you collecting your guests, you collecting all your database and owning it. There you just take that stuff what is working, jumping into Amazon and scaling that. So definitely like that's 100% right points. Awesome. So Ben, we have to end it as per the time. It was great to speak with you guys and girls. If you want to know more, just ask questions. So maybe later on I'll ask Ben to answer on them personally. And in the same time, Ben, thank you for the time in today, for joining us and sharing your experience, your opinion, and plus giving us some kind of point of view why it's so necessary to have support in the business. If you are not in Amazon, put yourself in his shoes, because it's the same on any different niches.
Yeah. Thanks for having us, Anatoly. I appreciate it. And for anyone who's watching, who is wondering why we started late, I will just say that it was my fault. I had it on my calendar for an hour later. So sorry about that for anyone who was waiting. But yeah, thank you again for having us, or having me, I guess. I really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll have to do it again.
Thanks, Ben. Speak soon.